Hello and welcome back to Off Grid Style. I'm Nikki and I'm glad to have y'all as always. Today we're discussing whether or not it is legal to live off the land, and if it is, where. Can you live off the land legally without, the revenuers and everybody else coming after you? So let's find out.
Is it legal to live off the land? Living off the land, often associated with self-sufficiency and sustainability, raises legal questions and concerns that individuals seeking this lifestyle must navigate. Historically, in the U.S. and some other countries, homestead acts were enacted to allow people to claim and develop land. In the U.S.'s case, these acts encouraged people to go west. Today, we're going to look at the legal aspects of living off the land and the considerations one must keep in mind. The right to use natural resources. In many countries, individuals have the legal right to use natural resources found on their property for personal use, provided they adhere to certain regulations. Typically, this includes activities like gardening, fishing, hunting, and collecting rainwater. However, there are limits to these rights, especially when it comes to protected species, ecosystems, or water rights. Property ownership. Property rights play a significant role in determining the extent to which individuals can live off the land. Property owners usually have the right to use their land for various purposes, including homesteading, farming, or living in a self-sustaining manner. But keep in mind, zoning laws and regulations may restrict certain activities, and property taxes must be paid to maintain ownership. A lot of people get in trouble with the law while living off the land. Some people think that the law doesn't apply to them if they are in the middle of the wilderness. The problem is that ownership of property is enforced in the entire country, no matter if it is private property or federal property. Most of the land in the U.S. is owned by the government, and if you get caught trespassing, you may get fined. There are limitations to the ability to live off of federal land. National parks are generally off limits. Tribal lands are completely off limits to live off of, for instance. Bureau of Land Management land is more flexible. There is the possibility of living off the land in these areas, but there are still restrictions. Living off the land is generally legal when practiced on public lands, allowing activities like foraging, hunting, and fishing within legal limits. However, living off the land on private property requires obtaining the owner's permission beforehand to ensure compliance with property rights and regulations. Owners can use satellite images or drones to discover if anyone is living on their land, and government entities can do the same thing. Once they discover somebody is trespassing, all they need to do is contact the local authorities, give them the coordinates, and in a couple of days, the trespassers are gone. Now, let's take a look at zoning and land use regulations. Zoning laws and land use regulations are implemented by local governments to control the use of land within their jurisdictions. These laws can impact off-grid living in several ways. For example, they may specify minimum square footage requirements for homes, sanitation standards, and limitations on agricultural practices. And how about building codes and health regulations? Building codes and health regulations are in place to ensure the safety and well-being of residents. Off-grid homes must often meet these standards to be considered habitable. composting toilets, solar power systems, and rainwater harvesting systems must adhere to health and safety guidelines. Environmental protection laws. Living off the land requires an understanding of environmental protection laws. Any activities that could harm ecosystems, endangered species, or the water quality may be restricted or regulated. Understanding and adhering to these laws is crucial for sustainable off-grid living. Water rights and usage. Water rights are a complex legal issue, especially in regions where water is scarce. Collecting and using rainwater, drilling wells, or diverting water from streams may be subject to regulations, and individuals must often obtain permits for such activities. Off-grid communities and collective agreements. Some people choose to live off the land within organized off-grid communities. In such cases, community agreements and covenants may establish rules and regulations governing property use, shared resources, and waste management. Just a reminder, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. While living off the land can be a fulfilling and sustainable lifestyle choice, it is essential to understand and adhere to relevant laws and regulations. These laws vary widely by location, and what is permissible in one area may not be in another. To live off the land within the bounds of the law, individuals must research, educate themselves, and, if necessary, seek legal counsel to navigate the complex landscape of property rights, zoning laws, environmental regulations, and more.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a fun one for me to do, and I always love it when they're interesting for me to do. Please let me know what you thought, what your opinions are on living off the land, and is it legal? What your experience is, if you have any. I always love hearing from you. I always respond. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.